morning everybody and welcome to the GSM's Pride. This week we are heading off to Las Vegas to show you the Ford Grassroots training, or not really training, I guess more of the meeting with the CEO and president, Jim Farley, and all the other stuff. I won't have much footage of the actual inside the meetings themselves because we're not allowed to take our phones in, so some of the things I can't say what will be proprietary, so I will have to be a little careful what I say there. So either way, check it out.
How often do you come to Las Vegas? Pretty regularly, right?
Not as much as I used to. You know, Vegas hasn't been so good to me.
So the first day, we got there. Once we flew in, they took us straight to Las Vegas Speedway, which was kind of cool. Not only that, I didn't know this at the time, but there is a Navy airfield right close by, and there was jets flying over constantly when I was there, which was really cool. And if anyone knows anything about me, I'm kind of a jet freak, and it was awesome, so that was kind of neat. But when we got there, we went through the normal Grassroots, where we get to speak to a lot of the vendors, you know, Ford Credit, Ford Blue Advantage, that kind of thing. Talk to those about the new things that are coming up. So Ford have basically split their, I guess, departments into Ford Pro, which is for service and commercial, Model E, which we'll touch on in some depth in a minute, which is the electric side, and then Ford Blue, which is for the ICE engine, the internal combustion engine, if you don't know what that is, and the rest of the things that Ford do. So when we got there, we got to walk through there, and then we got the luxury of driving in a Ford F-150 Lightning, where we towed, I think it was 8,000 pounds on the back of a trailer. One, they wanted to test, obviously, the pull away, the way it handled around with the trailer on and that kind of stuff, which was kind of cool. I got to sit in the back there, so that was a little bit of a different experience than normal. And then we got to line up and drive the Mach-E GT, which I've been really anticipating because I've driven a Mach-E, but I've not driven the GT yet, and it's pretty impressive, and the interior is really cool on that. I can't wait to actually do a review on that, which I will do at some point. We did sell one, but I'm waiting for some other things to get done. We're going to do some comparisons there, so that was kind of cool. Got to do the Mach-E GT on the track, and then we also went in a Expedition, drove the Expedition around an off-road course on my own, and Eric Reikemper was with me, the other Ford GM. Which was kind of cool. And then we got the coolest part, which was to go out in the Bronco Raptor. Now, we didn't get to drive the Bronco Raptor, but as you see, it was pretty intense. That thing is just absolutely insane. And for a vehicle that's built in a factory that goes literally out and you could go Baja racing in it, it's pretty impressive. And we got to go over a pretty high jump, which you'll see, which was kind of cool.
I always say it makes this much horsepower.
Insane that can do that.
Like I said, it is crazy how it absorbs all that. So
let's see.
Let's see. I can go. That's the full jump right there.
And then we got to go on the NASCAR track with a GT500 as a passenger. And I told my driver that we had to hit 150 miles an hour. We hit 147, and he tried to pull off that he had 150. So if you are watching, you didn't hit 150, just so you know. I said you had to scare me at 150, but obviously we all know the GT500, that thing is an absolutely immense vehicle, and it did not disappoint by any stretch of the imagination. So after we did the drive, then we went to get the first meeting underway. A couple of things I did want to address. We got to, Jim Farley presented to us, who's the CEO and president, and he's been very controversial lately of some of the things that he said, that maybe he wants to get rid of the dealer body, maybe he wants to go direct to consumer. That was a little taken out of context, and I'm not defending him by any stretch of imagination, but it was taken a little bit out of context. Now, I don't necessarily think that that there's not some truth to that he wants to do a different dynamic and more of the Tesla side, but it's definitely not as abrasive as what he really thought, which I'll touch on in a minute. But the first day we did actually get to see the new all new Ranger. The new Ranger is very similar to a Maverick looking, and that's a really good looking truck. I'm excited to see that. Obviously I couldn't take any pictures because they take our phones off us, but or make us put them in these patches. So we did see the new Ranger. We got to see the new Escape, which was really nice. It's kind of like a baby Edge, and they actually do have an ST line coming, which I'm really excited about, because I think that's been a long time coming to have the ST line for the Escape. So we got to see the new Ranger, the Escape. We also got to see the new Mustang, which a lot of you have already probably seen, because that got released the day after we were there at 9 p.m. on YouTube. So that one's really cool. To me, even from a Ford guy, it is kind of a little bit Camaro-esque, but it is a really cool looking car, and the interior is absolutely amazing. So can't wait to do a review on the Mustang. And then we also got to see the all new 2024 Super Duty, which is impressive. I don't think there's much out there right now visually, but the stats are going to be pretty impressive on that, so I'm really looking forward to that. Then on the second day, we went back and we talked about a lot of things. Jim Farley obviously talked again about not taking the dealer body away, but a couple of things that I really want to touch on. One of them, and again, this is going back to that Model E side, is, you know, I think this is very smart from the Ford Motor Company, where they want to have the largest infrastructure of chargers. So what they have decided to do is put a lot more pressure on the dealerships to go and invest and put DC chargers out there for the infrastructure. Well, it's pretty obvious where that's going to go. Is Tesla don't have the dealer body to go and actually put those chargers in. There's a lot more hoops they have to jump through for governments and, you know, states and different legislations and whatnot, where the dealers have that already in place. They have the network. Don't quote me on the exact number. I probably should know this number, but I don't. But I think we have like 3,800 dealers in the nation. So if every single one was required to put a DC charger in, that would instantly make them have the largest infrastructure for charging network in the nation very quickly. And I think that's what they've realized can happen. So they are going to really partner with the dealers. I'm not necessarily saying that some of those dealers, unfortunately, may not be around, because I don't know if they'll necessarily be able to invest that kind of money. But that was something that I wanted to bring up with you to clarify a little bit, that the dealer body is not going away, but there are going to be some things that are going to be kind of, the hand's going to be forced a little bit in those areas. So if you did see the Jim Farley interview where he said that he wanted to do direct consumer, there's kind of a little bit of a twist on that, which I can touch on in a later episode. See, here's one thing that I've thought about with the Tesla model. So obviously I've done a lot of research on Elon Musk. I've read his book, and you know, he's a genius. He really is a genius. And I think he's done a lot of really good things that force the hand for the car industry. I really do. But it's been pretty obvious that what the dealer body has that Tesla doesn't have is working and is good, because Tesla is now starting to put dealerships in. So I'm a little bit against Jim Farley's opinion of, oh, well, we want to go to the Tesla model, because Tesla's actually coming to the dealer model, where they're having dealerships. Yes, they call them galleries, and yes, they're direct to consumer, but they still have employees and they still have dealerships at this point. So I really think that's a side of the industry where I think we're looking in a different direction, because I think Tesla's looking back in our direction to go back to more of a dealer model. Well, what I really hope you got out of this is just a little bit of clarity on some of the things that you may have seen that aren't necessarily in the Ford dealer world, and you've heard in the media and seen on YouTube and whatnot, and where I just really wanted you to get a little bit more of a dealer's take on what I got out of it and what I felt I heard and saw. Because, you know, you get both sides of that, where you get the media side, you get the Ford Motor Company side. I just wanted to really give you a little bit of the dealer side and what we figured was really coming out of those meetings. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you are in the car business, or if you are involved in Ford, I'm sure you've got a lot of a lot of my opinions out of that, not necessarily facts for you specifically, just my opinions, my take on it, and what I feel is coming down the road with Ford specifically. We've got some cool footage in there of the GT500, the Mach-E GT, you know, all those things that I got to drive, and obviously the Bronco Raptor. That was a pretty cool deal. So hope you enjoyed that. As always, on this side, I'm going to put up a video up on this side, a link to my subscription page. Please hit that subscription page and subscribe to the channel. Top corner there, Lou Fuse Ford. I do need some help on that one especially. As always, hit the post notification button, hit the like button, subscribe, do all the things you need to do, and I'll see you all next week.